What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and CreateSpace. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. But this video, though, this video is entitled, Did You Have to or Choose to? I hear this phrase, people who say they have to do stuff or they had to do something. And I know there's a certain amount of discernment that goes in with some people believe anything that they hear. I don't. So there's a difference between people who had to do something and people who chose to do something. Okay? What do I mean by that? There are people who are born in poverty, right? And then you have people who say they had to do something illegal to make money. I was born in the hood. This is all I got to do. I got to do what I got to do because, I had to do it. There's no other options. Liar. You chose to do that and you said there was no other option. Now, the thing about being in poverty and coming from a impoverished neighborhood, you do have to make a choice. Like, am I gonna, you're gonna have some hunger pains. You're gonna have some nights where you don't eat. What's for dinner? Air, bread, and wind pudding. But you're gonna choose: do I want out of this situation? And people say, yeah, I do want out of this situation. Well, I have to make some choices that'll get me out of this situation. Smart choices. Now, some people want the money, so bad that they're willing to make bad choices. And even in that scenario, there are certain people who grew up in particular households and families that they grew into crime. They might have thought it was a normal thing. And they had to find out that's not how normal families got down. Those people are more of a have to than choose to. Because they got to figure out, they got to choose to not do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's actually a way of life in their family. But that's a minority of a minority. You get what I'm saying? But there's a difference between people who had to and people who choose to. You have people who, when we become adults, I had to do what I had to do as far as the occupation you chose. Because you could, like you hear young ladies talk about I had to go to the streets and I had to be a stripper. No, you didn't. You chose to be a stripper. I had to make money and I had to, okay. By stripping, that was your only choice? No, that's what you wanted to do. That was the easiest choice to make, and it made the most money in the shortest amount of time. It's the same thing with the drug dealer reference. It's the same thing. And that's the problem. Did you have to or did you choose to? Because, and I'm going to get into the other part about this. Sometimes you have people who make decisions that affect other people. They may make a choice that they feel is for self-preservation, but this choice that they make affects another person. So you literally rob Peter to pay Paul. You stab your friend in the back because, or you do a person dirty because and I don't mean in an illegal sense. I mean, like, say you think you wanted to get a promotion, so you disparage this other person or run their name in the mud to put you on the fast track to get a promotion. I had to do it to get the job. No, you didn't have to do it. You chose to do it. You letting people know what your character is. See, I could be cutthroat if I need to be. Yeah. You can. There's other, but here's the thing. When people want to be cutthroat like that, they normally cutthroat as a surprise. Ain't nobody gonna see you coming. You're not gonna walk up to a person's face and say, "Look, I'm about to cut your throat." You're not gonna do that. What you'll do is you'll befriend them, or act like you cool with them, then cut their throat, and if they get rid of them, they'll never know. I had to do it. No, you chose to do it. See, that's the thing. You know, when you have to do something, it's like, listen, you know, you might work at a place and somebody might be a supervisor. Look, you got to fire such and such. Now, it's really not in your hands because somebody already told you to fire them. They fired them, but they making you tell them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I got to be one to tell you fired. We're letting you go. Difficult. That's the difference between had to and chose to. You know, you hear people talking that I had to be the mother and the father. Are you a widow? Do you have... No, you're not a widow? So is the father still alive? So you had to be? Or you chose to be? You know, nobody wants to answer that question. Did you actually have to do that? Or did you choose to do that? Because when you dig down, it winds up being somebody chose to do something and it didn't work out. And then they said they had to do it. And this is the part where it gets interesting for me. You can't take responsibility for your actions. Because what you're saying is, and I saw a thing not too long ago of Rick Ross, Freeway Rick, on Vlad TV, and he was like, first mistake I made was getting into the drug business. So he can admit he chose to get there. So whatever happens in that dynamic, he chose to get that. You know, but other people don't say that. They say, you know what? I had to do it, and I'm not responsible for my actions right after I made this choice. Really? Because you were forced into a situation. You weren't born into this situation, though. You know, this isn't a situation that happened to you that's out of your control, because that's when you have to. Like, you know, self-defense is when you wound up in a fight and you're like, hey, I got to defend myself. You know, you chose to is when you went out there and you started a fight. That's two different things. You know? But that's the issue at hand. You know, people say, I had to do it. I have to. Not really. You might have to take an L. If you don't choose to do something that a person would deem as unethical or immoral or just flat out just wrong, you know, and sometimes you can say, you know, I don't know my options. Some people choose things based on options, but most people know that they have other options. They just don't want to take those other options. See, that's the difference. When you're in a situation where you're saying to yourself that I know there's A, B, and C. But if I choose A, I can say I had to do that. You know. Somebody had a gun to my choice. And if I didn't choose that, they would have killed me right then and right there. And that's where the issue lies, because a lot of times I don't want to hear you had to. A lot of times, I don't want to hear. A lot of times people who say they had to do something chose to do something, but they cover up that their circumstances within that choice. I mean, it's the same argument. I was in fear for my life. No, you wasn't. How do you know? You didn't respond like a person in fear for your life. You responded like a person who figured they could get away with this if they did it. So you chose to do it, but what you wound up saying was you was in fear for your life. You know, it's a difference between what happens and how you present it. So like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.